This episode is sponsored by Into the AM. I get a lot of comments from you guys about the shirts that I wear in my videos. I have an extensive t-shirt collection. I don't want to blend in. I like shirts that stand out. I like shirts that are unique. I like shirts that I don't have to worry about going into the grocery store and seeing someone else wearing the exact same shirt. And Into the AM makes shirts exactly like that. This is one of my favorite ones. This is that, it's got a TV screen. It's literally dripping VHS tapes. It reminds me so much of the branding that I was thinking about when I created Cereal at Midnight. You're staying up late, you're watching monster movies or horror movies, whatever, into the wee hours of the morning, and sunrise is hours away. And that's what Into the AM is doing as well. Their branding is super cool. It's a super good fit for what Cereal at Midnight is doing. They're offering 10% off to viewers of Cereal at Midnight. There's a link in the description of this video. If you scroll down, click that link, go check out the designs on their site. You'll see all the cool stuff. I'll wear a few other Into the AM shirts throughout this video. But they've got a couple of bundle deals running. If you want to grab a few graphic tees, you can get 3 for $60. Plus 10% off with that code. And if you're not into graphic tees and you just want something a little more basic and a little more nondescript, they have you covered there as well. They've got 3 basic tees for $49.95. And again, 10% off using that link. I'm really grateful and happy about this sponsorship opportunity because I really believe in it. I think this is legitimately an awesome design. Super comfortable t-shirt, sized to fit. It's not baggy, it's not too tight. It is tagless, so there's nothing scratching my bag. You know, a lot of t-shirts you get them and they're kind of, either they're really thick and beefy and chunky and they're not super comfortable, or they just feel weird. They feel restrictive. That's not this. These are great t-shirts that I believe in and will be wearing on this channel. So support our sponsors, right? Click through that link in the description of this video to get 10% off. Thanks so much to Into the AM for sponsoring this episode, and thanks to you for checking them out. Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Fresh Flavors. This is Cereal at Midnight, and I am Heath, and this is 3 dozen new releases that have arrived in the last 3 weeks or so. This is all the stuff that's come in since the last Fresh Flavors. I try to do these about once a month, and this is this month's stack. I think it's the biggest one in the history of the channel. So let's just launch right into it. Of course, there are no reviews here. This is just me showing some of the stuff I bought. Some of this stuff was sent by the studios and distributors for me to tell you about. So I'll have more to say about some of it than others, but reviews will always show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. Let's kick the jams. The Boys, seasons 1 and 2. This is a big deal because The Boys is an Amazon streaming show. It's a Sony show streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime Video. So they've just launched season 3 a couple of weeks ago as this goes up, and the fact that they've released the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray is a really big deal because it's a streaming show, right? We don't see this very often. Stranger Things got some disc releases. It happens sometimes, but it's not. Here's my talking points. It's not a DVD. I think there probably is a DVD for this. It's Blu-ray, big deal, and it's a streaming exclusive show. So the fact that we have it on disc, I wanted to support it. It's a great show for some people. I want to be careful how I say that. I really like this show, but it's not for everybody. It's really adult, it's really graphic, and it is postmodern superheroes. It's a deconstruction of superheroes, but it's also a satire, not just of superheroes, but of us, the superhero supporting audience. And there's a lot of stuff there. It's based on a 72 issue run of a comic book that ran at Dynamite for Well, for 72 issues, and it was written by Garth Ennis. And if you know Garth Ennis, then you know what you're getting yourself into. Great comic book writer, but dark as... But it's dark, but it's silly dark. There's things I want to tell you guys, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. So I'll just, like, it's like how to kill a superhero. The superheroes are corporatized. They're fascist. They are terrible, terrible people. How do you bring those guys down? A little bit Watchmen, but if Watchmen was more of a comedy, and it's not an outright comedy, but anyway, it's on disc, and I wanted to support that because I want to send a message to this. I bought that. I want to send a message to the studios that, hey, there's a disc audience for this as well. And if more of us do that, then they'll keep putting some of those streaming exclusives on disc. Will Disney do that? I don't know. Will The Mandalorian and all the book of Bobes ever come to disc? I don't know. Lucifer season, what is this? The complete 5th season. This is a DVD. I've never watched this show. This was sent over to me by the people that publicize for Warner Brothers. So, hey, I was provided a free copy. They didn't tell me to do this, but I should do this anyway. I was provided a free copy of Lucifer, the complete 5th season. By Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. The opinions expressed are my own. But I don't have any opinions because I've never watched Lucifer. What do you guys think about this show? I'm a comic book guy, but Lucifer is not something I've ever read or watched. Curb Your Enthusiasm, the complete... What is this? The complete 11th season. DVD. Is this getting a Blu-ray release? I don't know. I have watched some Curb Your Enthusiasm. What I saw was pretty, you know I was going to do it. Pretty good. But I have nothing to say about season 11 because I haven't watched it. But hey, my job for these is to let you know that they are out. And you can buy them if you want to. For the disc crowd, here they are. This is exciting because these are like secret releases. Paramount does these... I guess technically they're considered I think they're considered MOD, like manufactured on demand, but they're pressed. They're not factory. They are factory pressed. They're not like burned on demand or anything like that. And they go to Amazon, and I'm burying the lead here. The Mexican. She's having a baby. This is John Hughes. This is like the John Hughes movie that always slips. Well, Career Opportunities is another John. Well, he didn't direct that one, right? He just wrote that one. There are some John Hughes movies that slip through the cracks. This is one of them. Nicolas Cage in The Weatherman. I'm just not really happy in my life. Michael Caine is my dad, but we don't get along, man. And Some Kind of Wonderful. Now, we'll go through all... I don't know how much time I want to spend on these, but all Paramount catalog titles. I was going to say deep cuts. They're not particularly deep. I saw half of these in the theater. I saw The Mexican and The Weatherman in the theater. And they are just like movies that, you know, we know about them, right? They were like video store staples, but they don't get talked about a whole lot. So it's great that they're getting these releases on disc. As I say, they are not burned. They're factory pressed, just like you want. But it's almost like they're secrets. They come out with little fanfare. I don't think that these go to stores, to retail stores. Like, I don't think these go to Walmart, Best Buy, Target. Maybe they do, but I think that they're like Amazon and online only. But they're loaded, like The Weatherman, which is a great movie, by the way. It's directed by Gore Verbinski, and The Mexican is also directed by Gore Verbinski. These are two great movies that... I love The Mexican. Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, these are my movie stars. You know, my tastes were formed in the 80s and the 90s, the late 80s into the mid 90s. That's when I was being formed as a movie fan. These guys will always be my movie stars. Gandolfini is in this as well. I'm trying to look at the years here. 2001 and 2005. And after these, I feel like Gore Verbinski was just swallowed by the Pirates of the Caribbean machine. But these are very different movies, and these Blu-ray, so commentary by Gore Verbinski. I think everything that was on the DVDs has been ported over to these. Deleted scenes, Brad Pitt on the making of The Mexican. We got an extended outlook about the script on this. Becoming the Weatherman, Atmospheric. They've got cute weather-related names for all these special features. But the fact of the matter is, they've got stuff on them. From the archives, Kevin Bacon interviews John Hughes. It's amazing. And this has been around in various forms. It was part of a multi-pack. It was a John Hughes. Was it a 3-pack? I can't even remember. I feel like this was on. It was in a box set, and it was the only one that you couldn't get on its own. And then they did release it on its own as a steelbook, but this is not a steelbook. This is just your standard Blu-ray for Some Kind of Wonderful. Again, written by John Hughes, who directed it. Produced by John Hughes, directed by Howard Deutsch, who directed... Did Howard Deutsch do Career Opportunities? Somebody check that. But John Hughes directed this. So anyway, John Hughes, one of the masters. Commentary, Back to Wonderful, conversation with director Howard Deutsch. The Making of Some Kind of Wonderful. They're loaded, man. They're absolutely loaded with special features, and they're like $11.99 a piece. It's amazing, right? It's an amazing... When so much is like the Wino 4K, Wino Blu-ray, like, I hope people are supporting these. Because it's HD transfers. They're probably not new HD transfers, but the fact of the matter is they are solid studio-created HD masters on disc for $11.99. That's a great deal. Oh, I should say, I will put... Oh, do I want to do this for 3 dozen releases? Yeah, I will put purchase links to all this. It hurts to say. I will put purchase links in the description of this video, and I'll pin a comment too, for all of these titles, and you can click through that to buy the titles, and you'll be supporting Cereal at Midnight. You'll be helping me out for bringing... If you saw this coverage and you appreciate this coverage, you'll be helping me out a little bit, because we get, you know, a few cents on the dollar for sales that are made through those links. And you're supporting... The bigger point is you're supporting... physical media. You're sending a message to Paramount that's like, yes, I want these on disc. I don't just want to stream them. Warner Brothers is releasing Eraser Reborn. Haven't watched it yet. I'm curious. I'll say that. It seems like, you know, like, why? Why are they rebooting Eraser? I like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I don't love it. I think it's got some problems. But this is not that. This is something else. This is Eraser for a new generation. And I'm really curious to see what how it survives. Let's see if I'm trying to look for the director's information. Directed by John Pogue. Eraser Reborn, starring Dominic Sherwood, Jackie Lai, McKinley Belcher III, Eddie Ramos, and it is written by Michael Weiss and directed by John Pogue. If those names mean anything to you, if the Eraser franchise means anything to you, there is a Reborn reinvigoration of Eraser. Extreme Prejudice. This is the Vestron release. What number is this? Vestron number 26. This is a very interesting package because it's, you know, so it's directed by Walter Hill, who's the guy that did The Warriors and Streets of Fire, 2 movies that I love. C. Courtney Joyner does a commentary on this release with Henry Park. They do great commentaries together. A couple of Western aficionados and experts talking about the Western. Everything Walter Hill did is kind of informed by the Western. The Warriors is informed by the Western. There's a lot of Western elements in the Warriors. And it's interesting to see how a great director will take certain elements and just... You can change the setting, you can change the style, but this is essentially a Western. Nick Nolte, Powers Booth is in this, Maria Conchita Alonso, and Vestron loads these things up. So, well, it's Lionsgate, but using the Vestron label. So the audio commentary with my friend C. Courtney Joyner and Henry Park, isolated score selections, interviews with Walter Hill, The Major's Agenda, an interview with actor Michael Ironside. That's a big deal. And from what C. Courtney Joyner told me, Michael Ironside pulls no punches in that conversation. It's very candid. The War Within, an interview with actor Clancy Brown. Love Clancy Brown. Capturing the Chaos. Highlander! We have your woman. How far do I go with Kurgan quotes? I was going to do more, but I should probably stop. An interview with director of photography Matthew F. Leonetti. Plus, theatrical trailer, teaser trailer, TV spots of the vintage EPK. Does anybody enjoy watching the vintage EPKs? I'm glad that they include them for posterity's sake. But does anybody enjoy, like, oh, gotta see that 5-minute vintage EPK. Extreme Prejudice is a new movie coming from Vestron Video in the summer of, what is this, 89, 87. Switching gears from Mill Creek Entertainment, we have Ultraman Mebius. Hey Heath, you gonna talk about Ultraman? Mebius. Dad joke. Sorry. I'm not. You know what? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'll make my dad jokes if I want to. Ultraman Mebius is the one. When I've been covering Ultraman since the beginning, right? Since Mill Creek's license began, I've been covering I was so excited about this stuff. My heart is in the 60s Ultraman, but I love what some of these later shows do with I mean, like, it's like the old Ultraman is guys in suits, right? And it's always guys in suits, but you have these big Toku battles, and it'd be like Ultraman versus, this monster that has, this one particular weakness. And then, like, in the 60s show, like, he'll, like, beam or something, and he blows him up. And then you get to, like, the 2015 stuff or whatever. And, like, it's like a Final Fantasy boss battle, like you're summoning things, like Ultraman flies into space, and then he like changes the direction of the satellites, and then he fires the satellites back down to Earth, and then it splits the thing into 9 different pieces, and then they blow up, and then like fireworks shoot off, and then he poses for the camera. It's like crazy the way that this stuff has evolved. This is somewhere in the middle of that. This is a 2007, I want to say. Some of you guys know better than I do because you're Ultraman experts, you're Toku masters. This is the one that so many people cited as their gateway to Ultraman. So I'm old, right? I'm not hip to the Crunchyroll, but that I gather it was on Crunchyroll. Is that where it was? It was on one of those streaming services, the anime and the Japanese entertainment streaming services. And a lot of people discovered Ultraman via that gateway. What you need to know is there are it's not about. There are 10 discs per episode. That's more than I would like, but I have to say it seems okay. It seems legit, guys. Because they're like 22 minutes each, you're dealing with about 220 minutes of content. You can comfortably fit 180 minutes on a dual layer disc, which is what these are. So about 40 minutes over, roughly 2 episodes more. I would have done a maximum of 8, but they know what they're doing here. And we got a disc off the, we got a loose disc, guys. You guys noticed some of these trays have shallower hubs than they used to, and some of these discs barely stay on there. It's not any particular whoever's making these cases, that's where the problem is coming from. And I just noticed like I'm having more and more loose discs that do not want to stay on the hubs. Anyway, it looks pretty good. Obviously we would rather have Blu-ray transfers of these, but Blu-ray transfers were not on the table. They were not offered. They were not up for license. Was never an option. Savvy? So that's that. Also, I know that a lot of us would support or for standard definition on Blu-ray. That's not happening either. Something we need to remember is that while the enthusiast market, tends to be okay with standard definition on Blu-ray, the mainstream, and let's be clear, this is going to be in every Walmart, Best Buy, maybe Target. It's going to be in thousands of stores in North America. And most of the people that are going to be casually walking by and going, oh, they're going to support a DVD more than they will support a Blu-ray. And standard definition on Blu-ray it confuses people. Every time I talk about SD on Blu-ray, someone, usually more than one person goes, wait a minute, it's not in HD? No sale! This is all caps, right? No sale! So there continues to be this huge confusion about what standard definition, like Blu-ray is a storage medium, right? It's not a resolution, it's a storage medium. It's a format. HD on, we know, I'm preaching to the choir. Anyway, this is the complete series of Ultraman Mebius with all of the various specials that were included, that ran after that. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce them all, but you can read them yourself. It's all here. The booklet as well. Look at that sexy. Look at that sexiness. I don't know. I think I'm loving that Mill Creek continues to support these. We got to be getting close to the end, right? What's left? How many shows are there? Like, I think there's like 8 shows left that they haven't released, maybe. Again, some of you guys are way more, have way bigger expertise in this stuff than I do. But they've put out a lot, right? So it's great stuff. Let's switch gears to Arrow. This is, well, I got my stuff out of order, so we'll just take it as it comes. So, The Initiation of Sarah. This is a forthcoming Blu-ray of the TV movie, 1976. Is this 70? I'm trying to remember the year. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it's 77. Why do I do this to myself? And now I feel trapped. I feel like I have to find that year. 1978. Okay. It feels like Carrie, the TV movie. It's about there's Satanism involved. This shy girl who gets picked on a lot goes to college with her sister and ends up falling in with a sorority that is, in league with the Dark Lord, but she doesn't realize it, and she's being picked on pretty heavily by Morgan Fairchild, and it goes south pretty quick. So it's I've got the TV movie. I actually have 2 copies of the TV movie on DVD, but this is now Blu-ray. It looks great. It made the transition to Blu-ray exceptionally well. Brand new 2K restoration from a 4K scan, so this could have been on 4K, from the original 35mm camera negative. There's a commentary I'm looking for. The commentary by Amanda Reyes, who does some of the best commentaries in the business. I always love listening to her commentaries, and I love to shout out her work anytime I get a chance. She's a TV expert. Talk to her here about TV movies, horror movie history. One of my favorite videos that I've ever been able to do. Welcome to Hell Week, a pledge guide to the initiation of Sarah. It's a brand new appreciation by film critic. You know what? I'm not going to read all this to you. There will be a review for this at CerealAtMidnite.com. I've watched this. I've watched the special features. I just have to write the review. It is loaded with stuff. They've talked to a lot of people here. The guys from the Gaylords of Darkness podcast, they talk to, Cracks in the Sisterhood, Second Wave Feminism, and the Initiation of Sarah. So if you want to get into like the real scholarly, like really breaking down the, like what this movie means and like analyzing it, they got you covered there too. Or you can just watch it as like Satan's sorority sisters. That's your choice. Brand new interview with film critic Samantha McLaurin looking at witchcraft, empowerment, TV movies, and telekinetic shy girls post-Carrie. This was really good. The Initiation of Tom. This is my favorite special features tend to be the ones that come from the people that made the movie. The Initiation of Tom, a brand new interview with Tom Holland about the first film, his first film writing credit, which he's great. And he remembers it well. He kind of tells how he got into Hollywood, how he broke into writing, and it's the theater roots and all that stuff. It's great stuff. This has a reversible slipcover. Booklet is here as well. I'm assuming, is the booklet limited? And the teaser, the Arrow teaser here for another release is Edge of Sanity. Double the terror, double the fun. It's Anthony Perkins in Edge of Sanity. Friday night at 9. From Troma, Mutant Blast. I need to watch this. This is in my stack to watch. Of course, all this is in my stack to watch. Actually, some of this already I've watched it and reviewed it already. So, but this is still in my stack. But it looks crazy. They said the plug line here on the back brings back memories of the earlier works of Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi. This is Marcus Kushnig from Slash Film Festival. One of the wildest and craziest Troma productions yet. So I am uber curious about Mutant Blast. It looks like a blast. And look at all that. It's got like a whole disc of extras here. So these are the extras. That's awfully fine print. Hopefully that shows up. But here is the feature presentation. Feature presentation. You with me? Did anybody follow that? Bonus material disc right here. And I'll have more to say after I've watched it. But for all the Troma fans out there, you got a new release. Skin. This one, I was really curious about it. Obviously, this guy I was really curious about this one. What needs to be said about Skin? So this has been on streaming for a while, I gather. I didn't know because I don't really live in the streaming world most of the time. It's so interesting. Like, I think I know some of what's happening on streaming, but then I realized that they put out, like, I mean, across all the formats, you know, all the different services, not the formats, all the different services between Hulu and Netflix and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and Apple TV, all the different ones. There's probably like 50 new things every single weekend starting on streaming services, and I just miss a lot of it. Skin is a documentary about nudity in movies. They go back to the beginning of movies over 100 years, or well over 100 years ago. They go back to well past, you know, the early days of silent film. Basically, as from the earliest moment that film was invented, someone was like, how can we get naked people on here? And that's fascinating. So it is part serious look at the history of nudity in movies, with interviews from a lot, and it's not just women, it's men too. They got a lot of Malcolm McDowell in here, but they talk to the people that were in these movies, and there's some really interesting conversations that come out of these things. Because, for instance, they talk to the actress who is in Not Another Teen Movie. Is that the name of the movie? The one, yeah, Not Another Teen Movie, the parody of the high school, the late 90s high school movie cycle. The foreign exchange student, you guys have seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. She's naked in the entire movie. It's kind of a parody of Shannon Elizabeth in American Pie. Her whole role in the movie is just to be naked. And she talks about how, like, she was excited about the opportunity. She was proud of herself. But the one thing that she didn't count on was that people would be criticizing her and analyzing her body, like, forever. Like, she opened a door for people to basically just criticize her. And you don't think about that. You don't think about how, like, it's a really interesting wrinkle to that conversation, because there's a lot of food for thought here, and it goes for over 2 hours, and it does have is 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it does have lots and lots of clips from movies, lots and lots of nude celebrities, both male and female. And then they'll talk to a lot of those celebrities about what was, you know, how was your experience doing this? Some of them have better stories than others. Like some of them have happier stories than others. Some of them were very much exploited, and it's very sad. It's very unfortunate, but it's a fascinating documentary, and now you can own it on DVD. I'm sure a lot of us wish that this was on Blu-ray, but it's not. This comes from, it's a Ronin Flix release, which is a cool website. Wow, this is a hard switch. I could have planned this a little bit better. The Diary of Anne Frank. This is I haven't watched this. This is still sealed. This comes from Liberation Hall, which is the same company that brought us the RoboCop movie, which the RoboCop TV series. There's a video dedicated to the RoboCop TV series, Blu-ray versus DVD. Which if I remember, I will link to here in the description of this video. But if not, hey, go to CerealAtMidnite.com and type in RoboCop, and you'll find it. This is a TV version of the Diary of Anne Frank, that stars Max von Sydow, Donald Pleasance, I shot him 6 times, Theodore Bickel, Diana Davila. It's I think it was a stage production. Let's see, Max von Sydow. Well, I just named all the people who are in this. Original air dates November 26, 1967, and it includes original commercials, which is interesting. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this, because it's frankly extremely heavy, and it's over 2 hours long as well. But it isn't, for those of you who are, you know, big historical fans and who are interested in this. This is cool that this is out. I don't know, again, personally, this is not going to be the top of my stack, but I know a lot of you guys will be into it, because it is a historical broadcast with the original commercials, with actors that, like, this stuff isn't, there's a lot of BBC stuff that gets presentations like this, but stateside, we don't tend to get a lot of stuff like this, so that's kind of cool. Anything that you can get some 60s Donald Pleasance, that's actually kind of cool. He's in one of my favorite episodes of Columbo. It's an earlier season, and he's the brother who there are always murders, right? He's done the crime, but you're like, he's so shy and meek. You're like, he couldn't be capable of murder. Donald Pleasance, But it's a great episode. The Heavenly Kid. This is from Scorpion Releasing. There's a lot of stuff here from. I'm trying to think. Here's another one. Let me bump this one to the top of the stack here. Clifford as well. These are both Scorpion Releasing titles that have previously been issued as Scorpion Releasing titles, but now they were limited, and they went out of print. Now they're back in print with wider distribution. So, The Heavenly Kid, really cool movie. I don't know why this movie doesn't have more. I'll say this. There's a lot of videos and content like underrated gems or hidden gems or stuff, and it's movies that aren't hidden gems. They're big $100 million studio movies. This is a hidden gem. This is a movie that has good actors in it, good talent. It's got the mom from Malcolm in the Middle in it. She was in a movie with De Niro. Jason Gedrick from Iron Eagle. Lewis Smith from Wyatt Earp. Jane, how do you say her name? Kaczmarek from Malcolm in the Middle, DOA, and Richard Mulligan from Soap and Empty Nest. And Nancy Allen from TV's Baywatch and Final Embrace. Great cast in this, and the idea is essentially this 50s greaser dies in a rebel without a cause style race, and can't go to heaven until he's done his good deed, and his good deed ends up happening in 1985. This movie's a 1985 movie, and so wacky shenanigans ensue, but it's got a lot of heart to it. It's actually got a real cool twist that I like a lot. It's got a lot of, it's a good feel good mid 80s movie. They marketed this to tie in, like they in foreign countries they tried to capitalize on Back to the Future because he's from the 50s and he goes to the 80s instead of the other way around. And it's just fun. It's just a fun movie, and I'm so glad that it's back in print. And it's got some great interviews. 2019 remaster, brand new interviews with stars Lewis Smith and Nancy Valen. Brand new audio commentary by director Carrie Medaway, moderated by Jeff McKay, and the original trailer. So great stuff. I like the movie a lot. Clifford is a strange movie, but I like it a lot too. Full review at CerealAtMidnite.com right now. As soon as I watched this, I was like, I gotta write a review. I don't know what that voice was. I watched it and I was like, I gotta write a review. So I did immediately, and I think this movie, I don't think it works, but I admire the chutzpah. You know what I mean? Like, this movie has balls all day long. Martin Short plays a kid. I think he's 10 in the movie, but it's Martin Short and he's like 37. Here's the thing. They started this movie when he was 37, and it was an Orion picture, and it got shelved because they didn't have any money. They were on the borderline of bankruptcy. 3 years later, they bring him back for reshoots. They add this bookend, these segments, these retrospective segments where he's an adult looking back as he's a priest. And he's like, I used to be a real terror. Let me tell you about mine. He's talking to Corey from Boy Meets World, Ben Savage. But right before Boy Meets World Season 1, Ben Savage had not yet been cast in that yet. And it just, fundamentally it's just so bizarre. Roger Ebert has a famous or infamous review for this movie where he's just like, none of it works. Why would, it's like the movie asks us to buy that Martin Short is a child, but he's not a child. He's a grown man. You have to buy that. You do have to buy that Martin Short is a kid in this movie. But it is so surreal. And the last third of the movie, when it really gets a chance to be what it wants to be, which is a super dark comedy, then it just kind of takes off. And it's Charles Grodin doing that thing that he does in the Beethoven movies where he's just like, I can't believe it, I'm losing my mind. I mean, this for 2 hours. But it's so dark and it's so fun. The last part of the movie takes place in this place, is Dinosaur World. And the whole movie, he's trying to get to Dinosaur World. And in the end, when you see Dinosaur World, for me, it did not disappoint. I was like, this place is cool. It's like a dark ride from hell, and the dinosaurs attack at the. It's crazy, but it's so cool. It's like out of a Tim Burton movie, but it's not Tim Burton. There are no real extras here, but you get the movie in HD. It does have reversible artwork as well. I should show you that. And I think Heavenly Kid did as well. Oh, no, it does not. My bad. All right, switching gears yet again. Cinderella, the full moon Charles Band produced. Trying to look for I'm looking at the cast credits here. Produced by Charles Band, directed by Michael Pataki. This is a 1977. It's not an adult. Well, maybe it is. It's an erotic musical fun fest. That's actually a very accurate description of what this movie is. And I've just realized that there are things on the cover here that I'm just going to keep out of frame for the rest of this video. It is a comedy. There's no real action in the movie. Is like, what word can I use here that's not going to get me flagged here? It is very... It feels very in the shadow of something like Hair, which has nudity in it. There's a lot of nudity in this movie, but it's an erotic version of Cinderella with a black gay fairy godmother. It's disco tinged, and clothes frequently come off. But it's like the songs are really good. It's so hard to describe. The songs are really catchy. And I was like, when I was researching this, I was like, these songs, man. I was like, this is next level. So I was doing my deep dive on all of this. Probably not a great use of deep dive in terms to this movie. Was doing my research on who was involved here. And the composer, the guy responsible for a lot of the music, went on to do a lot of stuff for Disney. And like those sing-along VHS tapes. He did stuff on those. And I was like, oh, it fits. But like, how did Disney feel about that being in his past? So this is out on Blu-ray right now. The only extras are vintage trailers. And I will say that there are a couple of different versions. There are a couple of different cuts of this. I believe this is the shorter cut. So it would get the... does this have a rating? Rating UR. So that's unrated. There is a longer version that's like 2 minutes longer, and I think that's like the X version. That's not this version. This is the slightly shorter version that I presume made the cable rounds back in the day. But again, not an expert on Full Moon's Cinderella, but it is on disc now, digitally restored and remastered in widescreen and 5.1 surround. So very cool stuff for fans who dig, if you dig that baby. The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. By the way, can I just say something really quick? You know, a lot of times when I do a lot of review stuff and I get sent review copies for things, but do you guys realize like they all have holes punched out of them? So much of what I get to review has holes punched out of them. And I know a lot of you guys are like, I'm so jealous. But you know they're punching holes in this stuff. So any collectible value, resale value, so much talk about like, what's it worth? Well, with a hole punched through it, it's not worth much. It's worth whatever enjoyment I get from it. It's worth the time that I spend watching the movie. So I just wanted to shout that out for all the people that are like, I can't believe you get all those review copies. Well, one of them, they have holes in them most of the time. And it is just a device. It's just a delivery system for me to review and talk about these movies. So I just wanted to share, because I can't even hide that, right? I mean, it's just right there. And I'm sure you guys are thinking like, why does it have a hole in it? That's why, because it's a review copy for press. The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. This is, I've yet to watch this. This is still on the stack, but I'm excited about it. It comes from Synapse Films. And it is loaded up with special features. There's a ton of stuff here. It's a new 4K restoration. I'm looking here to make sure that I can actually hold this up and show you. I think I can. If you're squeamish, you know, you're probably fine. But I'm concerned that print is too small. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. So exclusive new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. 5.1 stereo surround, made exclusively for the Synapse release. We've got 2 new audio commentaries featuring authors and film scholars Troy Howarth and Nathaniel Thompson and Bruce Holochek. Great commentaries from those guys. Or they give great commentaries. Restoration of the true original English language theatrical mono mix. Jorge Grau, Catalonia's cult film king. That's an 89 minutes extensive feature-length documentary exploring the life and films of director Jorge Grau. The Scene of the Crime, Giannetti De Rossi in discussion from Manchester. That's 16 minutes. Giannetti De Rossi Q&A at the Festival of Fantastic Films in the UK. That's 43 minutes long. And then theatrical trailer, TV spots, radio spots, newly translated English subtitles. So you're looking at an hour plus 89 minutes, so 2.5 hours of special features, not counting the commentary. That is substantial. They have a product catalog in here that I can't really flip through. And there's the disc. I don't think we have reversible artwork. No reversible artwork, but very cool stuff for all the horror heads out there. Let's talk about one more, and then we're gonna I'm going to take a quick break to drink some water. This gets hot under these lights, and these long videos take a lot out of me. So, and I'll change my shirt because we are sponsored by Into the AM, and I've worn 2 of the 3 shirts that I have in this video. So I'll take a break and change into my 3rd shirt. The Beatles and India. Man, my expectations for this were very grounded going in because, as we know, this is an unofficial documentary about the Beatles, and as we know, unofficial stuff just doesn't carry a lot of the same weight as anything that the Beatles might have licensed. I think that's pretty much true of anything. Anytime you have an unofficial product, it's going to pale in comparison. So my expectations were set appropriately for this, but I gotta say, it blew me away. It has so much vintage film footage of the Beatles. Essentially, it's a documentary about the Beatles and the influence, the give and take, the Beatles' influence on India and India's influence on the Beatles. So, of course, we're talking about George Harrison. We're talking about Ravi Shankar. We're talking about the Maharishi. We're talking about the pilgrimage to Rishikesh. We're talking about the retreat. We're talking about, all that stuff. But it also gets into, like, when the Beatles came to film Help, which is where George first discovered, he first bought a sitar. When they talked to the people that ran the music store at the time. It's like the son of the guy that was running the music store. They show the music store. You can see it's just this next level. And for those of us that are kind of fascinated by this pilgrimage to India in 1967 into 1968, where Mike Love from the Beach Boys was there, Donovan was there, Mia Farrow was there. Mia Farrow's sister Prudence was there, which is where the song Dear Prudence comes from. She was next level. By the time they got there, she went to her quarters and started meditating. Was there for days, and they're like, come on out, Dear Prudence. They really bring this stuff to life because they go to the location. They go to the actual compound. This makes it sound creepy. They go to the actual building and location in India where the Beatles were there for that retreat. And they take you through, it's like a guided tour. They take you through, there's these huge murals on the wall. And they're like, this is the spot where they meditated. This is John's room. This is Ringo's room. Ringo didn't like the food, so he left after a couple of weeks. And then one of the special features is there's an interactive map. An array of unseen photographs, footage, and interviews uncovered in India. It's like this is made by an Indian director. With a lot of Indian people, and there's a great soundtrack for this from Indian artists doing their version of Beatles songs. I really like this. There's a full review for this at CerealAtMidnite.com right now. Link in the description of this video next to the product purchase link for this as well. Includes unseen 35mm footage from a film shot at the ashram but never released, and an interview with George Harrison recorded with All Indian Radio in 1966, unheard since then. There's a lot of stuff here for Beatles fans that has not really been released yet. So I am a huge Beatles fan, and this is a piece of their story that has not been given quite so much attention as it has now, and it's a perspective that we have not had from voices we have not heard from. That's the best way I can say it. Great stuff. Quick break. Be right back. And we're back. All right, let's bring this bad boy home. We're only halfway into the stack. But when we get to the end of the stack, there's a lot of stuff that I have nothing to say, really. So I'll just show it to you and we can move on. From 88 films, actually we have 2 88 films releases, Human Lanterns and Hero. And this is not the Jet Li movie Hero or the Dustin Hoffman movie Hero. This is the 1997 remake of the boxer from Shangtung, the Chang Che 72 kung fu movie. That's in the Shawscope box set. They remade it in the 90s. The guy that directed The Transporter with Jason Statham. That's right, I'm Jason Statham. I was in a movie called The Transporter, right? I drive all over the place really fast, see? Do all sorts of stuff, get the girls, right? Anyway, quick Statham side street. Hero is a It's crazy violent. Actually, full review is posted right now at CerealAtMidnite.com. I had a lot to say about it, especially because it is a remake of a movie that I just reviewed 2 months ago, I guess, whenever the Shawscope box set first hit. I'm still making my way through that box set. It's a dozen movies, right? Takes a little bit of time, but really interesting movie for people that love these Asian. What is it? It's the Asia collection from 88 Films, and great commentary, highly informative commentary. Mike Leader, Arn Vinema, the Hong Kong trailer, the English trailer, the essay. By the way, reversible artwork there. Make sure I show you that. The essays here are actually, I think it's just one essay, which is, "Do we need another hero?" From, who wrote this? Stand By. Andrew Graves, that's right. It's an amazing essay comparing the two versions, the strengths of some. See, this is a Shaw Brothers picture, but Shaw Brothers in 1997 was almost dead. It was still around, but they were putting out, in the heyday of the Kung Fu movie cycle, even, Shaw Brothers started not in Kung Fu, they started in dramas and all kinds of stuff. The heyday of Kung Fu in the 70s, I mean, dozens and dozens of movies every year. This is the only Shaw Brothers movie that came out in 1997, and there would not be another movie from Shaw Brothers until I think 2003, I think it is. So very near the end of the line for Shaw Brothers, but very cool package for the Asia cinema enthusiasts out there. And Human Lanterns I have not seen yet, but it's horror. This is 1982. I think there's, yeah, I gotta be careful about what I show here too. Hold this one up instead. Kind of slasher influence on Asian horror movies, supernatural slasher stuff, and I'm gonna just read the back. I'm not gonna do that. So it's another Shaw Brothers movie. Martial arts mayhem taps into the craze from American slasher films and the earlier Hammer horror films by providing a grisly take on the serial killer feature in the inimitable Hong Kong style. Audio commentary by Kenneth Brorson, Philip Gilson of the Podcast on Fire Network, A Shaw Story, an interview with Susan. I'm just reading stuff to you guys again. Let me hold up the box art for these. These 88 Films editions are limited to 3,000 units, and after 3,000, the slipcover goes away and the booklets that are enclosed go away. But and I know how you guys feel about it. I'm just the messenger. To me, the most important thing is that you'll still be able to buy the movies, hopefully, but the bells and whistles do go away after the first 3,000 units. Let's talk about, this is a weird one. It's, those of you who know, Forbidden Zone. This is Danny Elfman. Oingo Boingo is directed by Richard Elfman. And crazy fever dream movie, deliberate surrealism. These kind of things could only happen at this time. This is the Wild West of creativity. Out of this comes Pee-wee, right? Then there's a connection there as well, because Paul Rubens, the Pee-wee character, and Danny Elfman doing the music, and then tracing that through the Tim Burton Batman movies. Just kidding. But that there's a strong sense of that there was something happening, that new wave sensibility at the time. Oingo Boingo was the band that Danny Elfman was in. They're out there. I mean, look, so Hervé Villechaize, is that how we pronounce his name? The guy from Fantasy Island. And the man with the golden gun. He's the devil here. I still need to, I'm going through this as we speak. It's got a ton of stuff on here. Now it's a director's cut. Does it say? Yeah, it's a director's cut. So controversy there, because it's not the original cut. And Richard Elfman, writer, producer, and director, says, Forbidden Zone is an absurdist fever dream with hundreds of crazy cartoonish images that spewed volcano-like from my crazy clown brain. Going back to the first screening in 1980, there are a few images I wished to change, but had lost control of the film. Well, with all the technology and some cool special effects friends, I'm finally able to fix the thing that I wanted to 40 years later. Yes, life is strange. So this is not the original theatrical cut. This is the director's cut with changes from the director. Highly controversial move, Richard Elfman. Highly controversial. It'd be great if we got the theatrical cut as well. That's the way to do that, is you do both, but I don't know if that was an option here. So we have a new introduction by Richard Elfman. We have a new Forbidden Zone theme. Richard Elfman beats Danny Elfman. Original audio commentary by Richard Elfman and writer-actor Matthew Bright. A look into the Forbidden Zone. Extensive behind-the-scenes documentary. Original video intro by director Richard Elfman. Outtakes, deleted scenes, reversible artwork, and the theatrical trailer. Show you. There is. Should double check it. Okay. We're okay. We're good. Let me go ahead and flip that around. This is my jam. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I'm really into, like experimental, weird, wild stuff. And you couldn't ask for more talented people behind the scenes. MVD, by the way, this is from MVD as part of their MVD visual series, and they are doing incredible work. This Eric Wilkinson, who is a friend of CerealAtMidnite. We've talked to him several times. I did the proper interview with Eric Wilkinson, Eric D. Wilkinson, the director of the Violence movie, which is maybe my favorite thing he's ever done because it's so, the love of horror movies is just oozing out of that thing. So I did a full interview with Eric D. Wilkinson. You can find that on the channel. And I also did a Die Hard commentary with Eric D. Wilkinson. Die Hard is his favorite movie. When he took out a full ad in one of the trades, when I think it was for Die Hard 5, basically saying, or maybe it was when they were going to do a 6, basically saying like, no, that's not Die Hard. This is what you need to do for Die Hard. Loves Die Hard. So we did a commentary for the movie Die Hard. We did it for Christmas 2 years ago, I think it was. And that's fun. So, and there were scoops in that. Every time we talk to Eric, he gives us scoops on things that are coming. But great guy, and he's responsible for so much of what's happening at MVD with the MVD Rewind collection, the MVD Visual, all the acquisition stuff, all the, like this. This is MVD Visual, The Fabulous Baker Boys, Wilkinson. We got Wilkinson to thank for this. So, great movie here. This is a classy movie. Michelle Pfeiffer looking so pretty. It's the two Bridges boys, Jeff Bridges and Beau Bridges. The dude, and I don't know, what's a good Beau Bridges reference? He's in a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go with Village of the Giants. It's Beau Bridges from Village of the Giants. So again, tons of stuff here. Audio commentary by writer-director Steve Kloves. Hosted by Twilight Time's Julia Kurgo and Nick Redman. Audio commentary with the director of photography. Isolated music and effects track. The Fabulous Baker Boys 1989 behind-the-scenes feature. Jeff Bridges and Beau Bridges, a 1989 behind-the-scenes featurette. Michelle Pfeiffer, 1989 behind-the-scenes featurette. Deleted scene, 21 minutes of deleted scenes and standard def. The original trailer and 2 TV spots. And also, when you open it up, cool piano-themed disc art. And I love that. This just looks like class, right? So, I'll be reviewing this one soon, I hope. The stack. This is a song from The Hobbit. There's the Lord of the Rings. Looks like the road goes ever on. The stack grows ever on. That's the stack gets higher and higher by the day. But I will get to it. And when I do, I will write a review. From Scorpion. This is another Scorpion title. The Killer Elite. We got James Caan and Robert Duvall re-teamed after The Godfather 3 years later, 75? Yeah, 1975. This is a 2020 restoration. This is what I was telling you guys about how older out-of-print releases are coming back in print with wider. MVD is restoring or re-releasing some of these Scorpion releasing titles. Kino Lorber is doing the same thing. Scorpion, Code Red, all this stuff is getting back into circulation. Things that were gone are coming back. So don't pay scalper prices. Don't ever feed the scalpers. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the scalpers. And if you're a reseller, we're coming for you. Make your money while you can, because it's going away. Nothing stays out of print forever, you guys. Brand new 2020 restoration. Brand new interviews with Bo Hopkins. Oh, rest in peace, Bo Hopkins. Just a few days ago as of the recording of this video. And production assistant Katie Haber. Audio commentaries with film historian Paul Sidor, Garner Simmons, and Nick Redman. TV radio spots and the original trailer. Does this have alternate? No. Also from MVD. I'm wondering if this is a Wilkinson pick. Wilkinson is also into his music. He's into his music. Every time I see him, he's got his headphones. No, just kidding. But this is a... this feels kind of like a Wilkinson pick. Nick Cave. 20,000 Days on Fire. No, 20,000 Days on Earth. I like 20,000 Days on Fire, but still not burned away. It is a mix. I haven't watched it yet, but I've read the press stuff about it. It is a mix of documentary style and staged, scripted stuff. So it's like art and real life blending together. Basically the creation of a Nick Cave project. No special features here, but we got the movie, so that's cool. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I need to tell you guys about this. Now, we'll cover this at some point in the future. Ooh, another Scorpion title. You guys, this one, The Mechanic. Here's when I say nothing stays out of print forever. I missed the original pressing of The Mechanic from Scorpion. I have the DVD, so it's okay. But I missed the original Blu-ray. And I was just like, I was like, don't pay scalper prices. Don't buy it on eBay. Everything comes back around. The only thing I can think of that we're waiting to come back, well, there's all the Disney stuff, right? But the Disney stuff, you can find the DVDs out there. Like, those Disney movies, the Fox movies and stuff, they're coming back. But the weird stuff, the obscure stuff, joysticks. We need a new pressing of joysticks. Graydon Clark's joysticks. It's the only thing that I can really think of that really seems legitimately out of print. Although he's selling it on his website, I believe. So, in a, like, non-official... I think he burns them on demand. I think Graydon Clark burns them on demand. The Mechanic is back in print, you guys. And I'm so excited. This has been a year for Bronson. In fact, this year, the last 12 months, Chato's Land, Breakheart Pass, Murphy's Law, The Valdez Horses, Mr. Majestic, Breakout, Violent City. Those come from Kino Lorber. It's great to see other labels jumping in that as well. So Scorpion's release of... this is, go back to Jason Statham, this is the movie that they remade with Jason Statham. But I'm sorry, I'll take Bronson instead. I don't have to choose, I guess, but I'm going to take Bronson. Jan Michael Vincent, Keenan Wynn, Jill Ireland. This is one of the 16 movies that Bronson made with Jill Ireland. Look at that. Boom. So I have more to say about this after I've... Is there anything to talk about? Brand new interview with writer Louis John Carlino. Brand new audio commentary with author Paul Talbot, the Bronson is Loose author. He wrote the book. He's written 2 books about Charles Bronson. That's exceptional. Audio commentary by cinematographer Richard H. Klein, moderated by Nick Redman. He does good commentary. Like, Richard Klein has interesting things to say. Anyway, in print. All right. Indie stuff. Let's talk about something indie. This is really cool. So the director of Clay Zombies reached out to me and he was like, I'm sending you my movie. I have this movie called Clay Zombies. It is literally what it sounds like. The zombies are made out of clay. It is fun. It's like cartoon, silly fun. I love that. I love horror that does not take itself seriously and invites us to have a good time with it. And so you can find this right now at clayzombies.com. And this disc is, first of all, there's also a prequel comic. Make sure I can show everything here. Cool prequel comic. This makes me happy. This brings a smile to my face. They're literally clay. They're green clay, and they like shoot them with a shotgun, and, like burst open. So fun. This is low budget horror. I'm gonna say it's probably micro budget horror. It is based on a short film that they made. It's like a 15-minute short film, which is included on the Blu-ray. So we have a director's commentary. We have deleted scenes, a Q&A at the London State Theatre, Fire Tiger music video. This soundtrack's got this real throwback 80s kind of soundtrack with like synthesizers, and they're doing a real cool thing. Bloopers, the original short film, and trailers. Now, for those that want to know, because this is such a niche product, this is burned on demand. But you know, support indie. I should do a video about that, about manufactured on demand versus factory pressed. For the Clay Zombies team to press, they probably have to press 1,000, and it'd be very expensive. And then they got to get their money back for that. Whereas MOD, whole different ball of wax. I've actually talked to J.R. Bookwalter about that a little bit, because it represents a real viable solution for people who are, for independent creators, to not have to go through one of the pressing plants and to be able to do things more approachably. And they have the same play functionality as a press disc. So we'll do a video about that soon. But Clay Zombies, clayzombies.com. Thanks so much to the director and anyone from the team that's watching this. Thank you guys. It's fun. If you are into, you know, right? You know if this is your jam or not. If the idea of Clay Zombies is appealing to you, check it out. Our friends at Umbrella Entertainment have released, so in a previous, well, here, let me start here. So we have the fourth release from the Films of Fury line. Do I have the, so I have number 2, number 3, and number 4. You see, these are all Bruce Lee movies, and you're like, but Heath, you're missing one. I was missing the first installments of the Films of Fury line, and they were so gracious to send this over. So I do now have the Big Boss. This is number 1 in the series. So I'm going to cover this like it's brand new, because we haven't talked about it here. Feature documentary, Bruce Lee, the Man, the Legend. Bruce Lee versus Peter Thomas. Interview with Tung Wei. Rare scene extension, alternate opening, alternate ending, still galleries, trailers. They come with, first of all, they're gorgeous. And if some of you guys prefer, even, you know, these are for the Australian market, even though they're region free, these are for the Australian market. But I know some of my US viewers like these more than the, like the Criterion releases, and they've been seeking these out. So we get the collector card here. And this is the back, the inner art wrap. And let's take a look at the 4th volume as well. And, well, I have more to say, but I'll save that for just a second. So here's Game of Death. Of course, the iconic yellow and black jumpsuit, which Quentin Tarantino, what do you want to say, homaged in Kill Bill. So additional feature presentation, Game of Death 2. So you have the whole second movie here with all the Bruce exploitation. Outtakes montage, bloopers, alternate opening, alternate endings, deleted scenes, Game of Death locations then and now, Game of Death revisited, the trailers from hell, Australian director Brian Trenchard Smith, I love Brian Trenchard Smith, on Game of Death, Game of Death trailers and Game of Death 2 trailers, and we have the art card, and what's behind. So I talked to the founder and managing director of Umbrella Entertainment, Jeff Harrison, in a video that hopefully you've seen. If not, I will, again, future Heath editing this, link to that in the description of this video. Jeff was telling us that after they finish the Bruce Lee stuff, they have a ton of Jackie Chan on tap. Very excited about that. And do not forget that CerealAtMidnite has a coupon code where you can save 15% at the official Umbrella shop. So again, links in the description of this video, and I'll put that coupon code in this video. So you click through that, 15% off for being a CerealAtMidnite viewer. Very cool of them to do that, and please support those, you know, support our sponsors, right? Support the people that are supporting CerealAtMidnite. You know what I mean? So Thanks to Umbrella for those and for that 15% off, which is pretty great. From Vive, also out of Australia, we have the complete series of Randall and Hopkirk, Deceased. Region free, or you know what, I will say this, played perfectly fine in my Region A locked player. This is this PAL? Or yeah, it's in PAL, but my player converts PAL. I'm using a LG BK90, I think, is the Blu-ray player that I am using at the moment. And it plays everything I've ever thrown at it as far as like formats, and it converts very well, converts PAL to NTSC, so I don't have to worry about that. Older players may not, so that's why I say that my player, they play perfectly fine for me. It's the entire series of Randall and Hopkirk, Deceased, as you probably, or maybe you don't know. One of the cops is a ghost. It's two cops, one's a ghost. And it's crazy, I mean, it's wild stuff, right? What is it, 68? Yeah, 1968 to 69. It's the complete series, 21 hours and 40 minutes, and it has a lot of special features there. Hopefully you guys can read that, and it's small print. Interviews, audio commentaries, My Partner the Ghost, the U.S. opening title sequence, text alternative opening titles, raw behind-the-scenes production footage, and they look like this. Everything has its own dedicated tray and hub. So, Randall and Hopkirk, Deceased. All right. The rest of this stuff, I don't know. We'll see. This comes from various... This is from Corinth Films. This is Caged Birds. You know what? I'm just going to hold it up, and I'll flip it around, and if you want to freeze frame that and read it, go for it. This is some of that stuff that, like, I don't know much about. It shows up, I see the press release, and I'm like, oh, cool. But, you know, I didn't ask for it, and the best I can do is kind of show you guys what it is, and you can make up your own mind about it. And if anyone's watching these who's in the industry, and you have seen these and you want to weigh in on them, please do. Flip this around. Fear. This is an official entry in the Bulgaria Best International Feature Film Academy Awards 2020. Hold on, I should say that it's an official entry from Bulgaria in the Best International Feature Film Academy Awards category from 2022. It's a better way to say that. As with a lot of these film movement titles, they include bonus shorts, which I like. Anything to add value to the presentation. And a lot of directors, like your early projects, are shorts. And so the market for shorts is kind of... What is the market for shorts now? Where are people watching shorts? You see them at film festivals, but by putting them on the disc here, I think it's a cool service. Comedy Confessions, featuring Tiffany Haddish, Doc Jones, Stephen Lally, a documentary feature by Gabriel Sebastian. There are over 58,000 homeless people in Los Angeles County. Here are 3 of their stories. And that comes from, is this Film Movement as well? Yes. Also from, this is Indie Picks, Prime Video. So this is my review copy of something that's on Indie Picks Unlimited and Prime Video. It is Scarf Face, the documentary about competitive eating. An in-depth look at the all-consuming world of competitive eating. Don't lose your appetite. Incredibly compelling. You will eat this film right up, says S. Lyons of the Sound View. Audio commentary with co-directors Jason Ruzer and Sean Slater. Extended gyoza eating scene. Competitive eater deaths segment. Interview with journalist Walt Hickey. Outtakes with actor Dave Sweeney. Interview with Ed Cookie Jarvis. And the trailer. 77 minutes long. Has anybody watched this on streaming? And then this comes from Bayview Entertainment. And I don't know. This is my screener for promotional purposes only. I don't know. It's not a good fit for me, but again, it's not always the name of the game. Sometimes it's just for me to tell you guys about it, so you know what's out there. Completely insane, says Lee Butler from moviemeister.com. It is a, hold on, there's a whole lot of fine print here. Best Director, Best Actor, Audience Choice Award, Best Comedy, Best Feature, Best Horror Comedy Feature, Best Grindhouse Feature. This is VIP Extras, Commentary, Deleted Scenes. Has anyone watched this? Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Guys, we just covered 36 new releases. Took us over an hour, but we did it. Let me know what you think about these movies, what you're going to pick up. And remember, it's hard to say. I'm going to put purchase links in the description. So I've got to pull every one of these. I've got to create the link for every single one of these. So please use my links if you're ordering these things. And continue the conversation in the comments below. Guys, I appreciate you watching these videos and commenting and thumbs and ups and supporting sponsors and supporting Umbrella and people like that. Thank you so much for the time that you spend here with me. It means a whole lot to me. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.